The Tory government is in turmoil, absolute chaos, massive civil wars exploded inside the Tory establishment over Brexit. Yes, the Windsor framework. Basically, what we're having is the Prime Minister has been plotting against the Brexiteer backbenchers, people like Mark Francois and many others. They're cancelling them from a certain committee. We're going to get into the details of this. And these guys are going out there and challenging the government, and Mark Francois didn't hold back. He decided to call the government and Rishi Sunak bent. Let's talk about this, because this clash started last night in the House of Commons. The idea was to have a committee to sort out the Windsor framework, and this committee got slightly out of control because the government have been pushing out and essentially sacking a number of them because they're not really on the official line. And this is the video we have from the committee, the moments when Mark Francois completely lashed out and accused the Prime Minister of and the whole policy of being bent. And actually, I agree with him.
What is not the norm is for people to be taken off a committee against their will. That is completely irregular, and that is what has happened here. 5 times over for the same committee. That is not in order. That is not a convention. It is the government trying to rig a committee and get rid of people who they thought might have the moral courage to vote the wrong way. It's bent. That's what they've done. And you, sir, should not be facilitating it.
He did use a very unparliamentary, and it is unparliamentary, forgive me, he will have to withdraw it. He used the word bent. I'm afraid that is unparliamentary. And I would ask, before I call the former Leader of the House, I would ask that... Order. Sorry, I can only take one point at a time. I'm dealing with...
That is your ruling, sir.
No, he doesn't have the authority to order you to withdraw in a committee. The Speaker has that authority on the floor of the House. The Chairman of a committee does not have that authority.
I'm breaking tomorrow for the...
Absolute chaos. And thank God we had Jacob Rees-Mogg there. I don't know if you noticed at the end, he was telling Mark Francois that the chair right now, who's the person who's chairing the committee, Mark Pritchard, doesn't have the authority to tell you to withdraw your comment, because this is not the chamber of the House of Commons. This is the committee. And firstly, you would assume that members of Parliament would know this. Absolutely complete illiterate when it comes to basic constitutional matters. But at the same time, again, if it weren't for Jacob Rees-Mogg, then a lot of people would just assumed you can't say bent. But that's not even the main point. So Mark Francois changed the word bent and replaced it with rigged, so that the whole thing has been rigged. They've been kicking out people because they know that they're going to be challenging the government on Brexit and the Windsor framework, because, as he said, they have the moral courage to vote the wrong way against the government. We actually had the veteran Tory MP, Sir Bill Cash, who said that he had never known anything like it to happen in 40 years of being an MP. He described the manoeuvres as outrageous, while the former cabinet minister Jacob Rees-Mogg demanded that the meeting was suspended. Now, it is very, very embarrassing, this state of the Tory establishment right now. But it's not really just about the Tories, because this is a very important matter, because it's about Brexit, it's about Britain, and these are the people in charge. Now, there are some Tory MPs, backbenchers like Francois and many others, who are trying to make sure we get Brexit done properly. They've been trying that for years now, but they're trying to make sure that this Windsor framework nonsense doesn't just easily get implemented and completely ruin everything in the long run. But and Rishi Sunak's government are completely plotting on a regular basis, because they don't really get challenged by the mainstream media. And I'm talking about this here. The Express talked about what happened last night. Otherwise, nothing else. So, in total, 5 Brexiteer MPs have been removed from this committee, including Sir James, Mark Rolongi, and also Danny Kruger. Yes, Danny Kruger has also been kicked out. He said a mistake has been made on behalf of the Whip's office. Now, we had the DUP MP Sammy Wilson, who said that the government had carried out a purge on its own party of Brexiteers. It is absolutely true. And if Rishi Sunak really wants to lose the next election, then he can continue to do that. But if he really wants to save his own job and the Tory party, which at this point I don't really think he cares about the Tory party. I don't really think he's a true conservative. He just obviously was a business person, and he became a last-minute career politician, and he became an MP only a few years ago. He hasn't been even in Parliament that long, and he got to the top very quickly. And literally until lockdown, no one knew who he was when he became Chancellor. And now he's running everything. So we'll see what happens this Thursday in a couple of days when it comes to the by-elections, which we will be covering on this channel, and of course the general election. Now, in the meantime, make sure to sign up to our 300,000 subscribers party, because we have a special guest. This is for this Sunday, 23rd of July. We actually have another freedom fighter, Andrew Bridgen, who's going to be hopefully joining us. If you want to come talk to him, myself and others as well, we're going to get together, we're going to talk about all the important issues, and we're going to have a couple of drinks if you want to as well. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.